Good evening, it's Brian here at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. I want to show you this car here. This is a 1.5 VTEC and this is a Honda HRV. This particular car has been part of our own fleet and it's now for sale at a discounted price. And so if there's any information you want on the car, please do not hesitate to give me a shout. 086 843 1945. Call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits you, and I'll be happy to talk to you about trading in, finance, or any features you want to know about this particular car. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to have a look at the features on the outside, we're going to go for a drive in the car, and we're going to see what's going on the inside as well. So Brian is my name and I work at Fitzpatrick's Garage. This is a family-run business in operation for almost 70 years. With brands such as Honda, Maxall, Hyundai, and Mercedes-Benz. So try and stick with me here and I'm going to show you around this car in terms of the outside first of all, and then we're going to go for a drive and have a look at the inside as well. For once, it's actually not windy, it's quite a nice evening. So starting off, got these nice daytime running lamps in through here, and these headlights here are automatic. So basically at night time, they come on, and then when you go into an unlit area, they go full, and when you meet traffic, they go back to dip. So while I was using my hand there, this is exactly what they will do, but completely in an automatic fashion. And even the window wipers are automatic, so when it rains, they come on themselves as well. For 2019, this Honda HRV has a different front end to the model that went before it. So the grille, as you can see, and the headlights in the 2018 model are different to this 2019. So the 19 specifically has that lovely solid chrome, solid wing face they call it, and then also we have these projector style headlamps. And the other thing as well is front fog lights are standard and parking sensors are standard on the front as well. And I actually think, normally I don't think chrome works that well with silver, but in this case, it's a really bright front end. I quite like it on this car. So moving on to the engine, this car, it is that 1.5 ESi-VTEC engine, and what's cool about it is it's 130 horsepower, but there's no turbo, no intercooler, it's really straightforward, it runs off a timing chain, servicing is every 20,000 kilometers, it's reliable, straightforward motoring, but it's a really revvy engine. So you'll see actually when we go for a drive in the car, it's a really punchy kind of revvy engine. It sort of encourages you to drive it on. It's fun to drive. Other points of note on the front of the car before we move on, there is collision mitigation up through here on this radar. So that means that under 32 kilometers an hour, if you don't hit the brakes and you're about to impact an object, this car is going to try and stop you itself. There's actually also a radar on this car which is looking forward up front, and what it does is it reads every speed sign you pass. And it'll also tell you if you're about to drift out of your lane, so once it recognises you've crossed the white line without using your indicator, it's going to warn you. Well, I think the car looks really, really well in silver. Am I biased? Yes. Am I wrong? I don't think I am. This is a nice looking vehicle in silver. Anyway, down the side of the car we have those 17-inch alloy wheels, and privacy glass is also standard on the rear of the car. The headlights can also actually be controlled from the key, so when we hit the button, they come on themselves, which is really handy at night time. And you can also drop the windows using the key. Similarly, you can actually retract the wing mirrors and the windows using the key. Down around the back of the car, then there are parking sensors which are standard on the rear of the car. Privacy glass we talked about already, and actually a rear spoiler is also standard on the rear of the car. The taillights are a nice LED also. 2019, the car also has a nice chrome section just over the rear license plate. And I know it sounds a bit silly, and I probably am a bit of a boy racer at heart, but I really like the chrome exhaust tip on the car. And yes, I am flattering myself by saying boy racer because I'm way too old for that. So there's some of the features I like on the outside. What we're going to do is have a look around the inside of the car, and then we're going to go for a quick drive. Let's have a look at the boot. So the boot is actually quite big. When the car came out, they actually compared it to the Qashqai, which in fairness is actually a bigger car competing in a bigger market overall. But as you can see from there, apologies about the light this evening, it's quite tough actually to get good shots, but the boot is big, and then down underneath you also have more storage. So when you look at the litres that can be stored in the boot of the car, it really does punch above its weight. And that's why I think it gets compared to some of the bigger cars like Qashqai and stuff like that. There's also a power outlet in through here, and it might sound like a small thing, but for 2019 there is a solid parcel shelf across the back instead of the flexible one that went before it. One of the great things about HRV is versatility, so we can drop those seats down and you end up with a really ginormous load area. It is really, really big, and it's so easy just by dropping those seats. And you can also actually recline those seats backwards as well. It only looks like a small amount. Believe me, when you're sitting in the car, just letting it back that small bit, it just makes it so much more comfortable. And while we're back here, there's actually an armrest in through here, and one other thing is the leg room is just ridiculous in these cars. That's right, that is exactly how I would sit in the front of a car, and this is the leg room I have in this car. We sell lots and lots of SUVs like Sportages and Tucsons and all that. Honestly, this is one of the best legrooms you can get in the rear. The back seats in the car actually have another little party piece, which is the magic seat, which means I can lift and lock, and I end up with a tall mode. To be fair to HRV, it's one of those cars that I spend the most amount of time on out of any of the other cars, just describing what's going on in the back, because it's so versatile. Moving up front, there is electric through windows and mirrors. One thing I forgot to describe in the back actually, there's nice chrome around the handles, and the speakers in the front and rear doors have nice little chrome surrounds as well. This seat here, the material has changed for 2019, and it has, I think, more peripheral support on the side down low and also up high as well. The seat is completely height adjustable, and the steering wheel has a rake reach function. So sitting into a HRV, the first thing obviously is it's an SUV, so it's high off the ground. Things around me, there's anti-whiplash head restraints, so my head doesn't go too far backwards in the event of an accident. I got side airbags, I got curtain airbags, I got an airbag here, an airbag over there, side and curtain over through there as well. Steel bars for side impact protection in the doors also. And features such as emergency brake assist, emergency brake distribution, and the collision mitigation we talked about are all standard as well. When you're sitting in the car, this is the view that you're going to see. So you got your speedo in through here, you got a revolution counter over through here, and you got your trip information over through there. Trip information can be manipulated from these steering wheel mounted controls, and it's going to toggle through things like average speed, fuel efficiency, things as we talked about already like the speed sign recognition in through there. Cruise control is also standard, and it also got a speed limiter, which is intelligent. So it'll actually read the speed signs as we talked about already, but it'll also go and physically limit your speed once you go into those speed zones. Down to the side, we got an econ function, which is going to make things easier in terms of air conditioning, acceleration and cruise control. Parking sensors front and rear, lane change warning we talked about, alarm and traction control in through there. Heating controls are based on dual zone, so I got temperature for passenger, I got temperature for driver, got front and rear windscreen demisters, which also demisted the wing mirrors, and after that then the usual things like air conditioning. The gearbox in these cars is a winner. It's so nice to use, really short throws. It feels actually lovely when you're driving the car. We'll see that in a sec. And the handbrake is very easy to use. It's automatic in terms of application and release, but you can use it manually as well if you want. And after that then we have drinks holders in through here and an armrest back through there. USB connectors and HDMI are all located down in this little tunnel over here. Wee bit awkward where they are, but they're still very usable. Up through the centre then you will have on the dash just over here your reversing camera with various modes. And what's cool on the 2019 model is it actually gets Garmin navigation as standard. After that then you've got your phone and trip information using this touch and swipe Honda Connect setup. We're going to go for a drive. So rake reach I was talking about, which means steering wheel goes up and down and in and out, so you can get a nice driving position overall. I do apologise if this does get a bit noisy from the headrest. I will go buy a mount this weekend for the phone that I can stick somewhere else because it vibrates on that, but hopefully it won't be too bad. The first thing about any SUV is, yeah, it's high off the ground, so that's always cool because you have nice kind of visibility around the place. What I like about these though is they're actually fun to drive. And that gearbox is so nice to use. It's a real punchy, revvy engine. In terms of acceleration, start off in first gear. Into second, I'm not being hard in the car, we're not going past the red line, the car is warm. Into third. And we are at 100 kilometers an hour. A lot of SUVs, they feel big. Well, a lot of the new ones, they do feel quite nice as well. These don't feel big at all. It just feels high, it feels, but it's nimble. It's fun to drive. I love that gearbox. And on a back road like this, you might as well be driving something small like a Jazz or something like that because it's just so precise. The beeping sound is just to tell me that I've drifted across the white line, which is useful. But I have great crack driving these. Look, hey, don't take my word for it, come drive it yourself and you'll see it is quite a nice car to drive. Anyway, that is our 2019 Honda HRV 1.5 VTEC ES. This car is now for sale at a discounted price. If you want information on the car, if you want information on your trade-in or finance or anything like that, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945. Hopefully the video has been useful, hopefully the car is of interest. Thanks for taking time to watch.